So without further ado, I'd like to present to you for our improv to improve your team's performance with lessons from bad art. Let's give a great round of applause to Seth Greenwald, distinguished Toastmaster.
Thank you very much.
Take it away, Seth.
Appreciate that nice and warm introduction. How's everyone doing, my fellow Toastmasters of District 46? Good, good. Thanks for coming out on this virtually chilly night. Are you ready to have some fun with me tonight? Thumbs up, real thumbs up if you're ready to have some fun. All right, nice. All right, so as Evelyn said, I am Seth Greenwald. I am the president of Hudson River Toastmasters in Westchester, Ossining, New York, and I'm happy to be here and give you my webinar, Improv to improve your team's performance with lessons from bad art. Let's just jump in, shall we? Here we go. All right, so hello, hola, ciao, bonjour. You see all the languages I speak. Do you speak any of these languages? What we want to do is start off by introducing ourselves in the chat box. I know we're all virtual, but we can still communicate. So in the chat box, why don't you tell us who you are, where you are now, and your home club. So let's all take a minute and chat with each other in the chat box. Hey, Ron. Familiar. Hey, Deb. Christina. Jade. Nice to meet you. A few more people out there. Barbara, how's it going? Aloha. Jim, New Jersey, way out in New Jersey. Is anyone from like China? Like, you know, there's a lot of other, hello. I wish I knew what that said up on the upper left. Probably says hello. All right, Evelyn, hello. Hello, hello. All right, very good, appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Hey, you, how you doing? My home club of Hudson River. All right, so let's just get going. I'm going to mash up a few things. Those two things are my favorite things in the world. That would be art and design, communication and leadership. When you mash those things up, you get top-notch teamwork. You can wow your audience. And how we're going to do that? We're going to talk about flow. We're going to talk about authenticity. We're going to talk about something I call the build it together mindset. And I'm telling you, if Toastmasters is your toolkit, then improv is your power tool. It's exciting. I just stumbled on improv and it's made an incredible difference in my life. In fact, I have a confession to tell you. If you get close, I'm gonna tell just you guys. Are you ready? So my confession is that improvisational communication showed me how to open up my mind to all that's possible and gave me the confidence to chase after my life's big, hairy, audacious goals. Don't you want that for yourself? So today, I want you to make your future self proud. The way you're going to do that is to make the choice to use improv to improve the trajectory of your career and your life for the better. Give me a yes. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a yes in the chat box if my confession resonates with you. My personal confession. All right, Maurice. Okay. Thank you. This is what we're going to talk about today, tonight. Toastmasters rocks, of course it does, especially District 46. I'm going to give you 3 lessons from bad art. Why? Because bad art is more informative than good art, apparently. Improv to improve. We're going to talk about what that means. We're going to have a fun-filled breakout improv exercise, a group session at the end. Then we're going to talk about next steps. All right, here we go. Here we go. So a little bit about me. Toastmasters has changed my life. I've been an active member for 12 years now, club president 3 times, area director 2. I've been a division director. I've been a conference chair for District 46, and I am a frequent speaker in around the world, especially with this Zoom culture. I spoke a few weeks ago to a Toastmasters group in Italy, and they said, hey, can you start a club for engineers, because I'm an engineer? And I said, yeah, just fly me out to Rome and I'll do whatever you want. So I'm waiting for that invitation, but it's fantastic. I love to speak. Who knew I would be doing this 12 years ago? The power of Toastmasters. You know, I'm an author. That's all I wanted to do. I just wanted to write books on creativity. I'm a designer. I'm an engineer. I went to school for engineering and industrial design. I write books on creativity. But Toastmasters has helped me to also be a speaker. I'm known as Stripper Seth. I create workshops, courses. Last year, I took up 20 students on a course called Page to Stage. I just want to do the page part, but apparently Toastmasters has given me the power to keep on moving forwards. So let's do that. Let's just dig into the bad art lesson number 1. Who's ready? Everyone ready? Thumbs up. Thumbs up. Thumbs up. Real thumbs. Okay, here we go. I think you'll enjoy this. So everywhere I go, I love traveling, and I see beauty everywhere. I'm up in Westchester. The Hudson River is a beautiful vista right near me. There's Block Island in Long Island. There's a Long Island Sound, fantastic. And even a bunch of soybean fields in eastern Maryland where I vacationed a few months ago. It's so beautiful out there. I love it. I love this world. And unfortunately, when you have beauty, you also have ugliness. And a lot of times it's man-made. You have art, you have this thing in the middle, this piece of sculpture in San Diego, and the thing on the right, it's literally a piece of Swiss cheese. Now, it's literally a children's museum in China. I mean, I wouldn't even want my son to look at that. It's very scary. So there's bad art all over the place. But you know, I'm a continuous learner. And I'm sure you are too. I learn from everything. Bill Nye says you can learn from anyone. Wordsworth said you can learn from nature. Dr. Seuss says just keep your eyes open and you'll learn anytime, anywhere. Kaizen means continuous improvement. That's why I wrote this presentation, because we can learn from anything, especially bad art. But here is good art. Edward Hopper was an American realist in the early part of the 20th century. This is one of his famous canvases. It's called, are you ready for this? Hill with Lighthouse. That's good, right? Nice and creative. It's because he was known as the master of light and shadow, and he didn't play around. It was a hill, it's a lighthouse. He painted, he represented reality in a beautiful way. Now, here's Jackson Pollock. He was an abstract expressionist in the early part of the 20th century. And he's not representing reality. What he's representing is emotional reality, his emotions. He's going in instead of out. And you know what? This painting was very descriptive. It was called Painting 5. And in 1948, he painted it. You know how much it was worth in 2006? It was the most expensive painting ever sold at $140 million. So a lot of people like these. A lot of people don't like it. A lot of people pay a lot of money. I'm not here to tell you whether you like it or not, whether it's good or bad. It's very subjective. Art is very subjective. You make up your own mind. What I'm here to tell you is not to focus on the art, but let's focus on what Jackson Pollock said about the art. He said, and I quote, "When I'm in my painting, I'm not aware of what I'm doing. It's only when I lose contact with the painting that the result is a mess." What's he talking about? In? You'd be in a painting. Well, you know, I think I understand what he's talking about. Because when I was commuting into the city, I worked for the Army Corps of Engineers I still work for them for 12 years. And I was writing my book. I had 55 minutes to right. And it was an amazing experience because all I did was just started writing, and it takes a little time, but I just started writing, and I wrote and wrote, and after a few minutes, my muse would come, and I would just be a vessel for writing down the words. The words would just come into my brain, and my function was simply to capture those words. It's a state called flow, and I think it's inspired me in so many different ways. Everything I do is about flow. Everything I do is about being in the present moment. And everything I produce is only because of flow. Now, it's a very immersive state. I just call him Mickey C. He's a Hungarian-American psychiatrist, and he said flow is being completely involved in an activity for its own sake. Now, the key here is that it's for its own sake. You're in the present moment. Time stops. You don't feel anything. It's just, you're completely immersed. And it's such a beautiful feeling. And it's called flow. How do you do that? Flow for Toastmasters. You just got to remember that you are in the present moment, right? Your body's in the present moment, but your mind might not be. It might be in the past, it might be in the future. So what, and this, this is a crash course on trying to experience flow. But what you want to do as Toastmasters is simply write, is simply speak, is simply listen. You do that now. You don't, later you edit, later you think, later you evaluate. Okay, very basic concept, but it's incredibly powerful if you can do it. If you can stay in the present moment, if you can focus on flow, I encourage you to do such a thing. Do or not do. There's no try. Just do it. One of my favorite slogans from Nike, just do it. Just do it. Just stay in the present moment. Don't worry about what's going on in the past or the future. And you know what? It's not only that you can get into flow, your team can get into flow. You can get into flow with other people. I do this all the time at the Army Corps of Engineers. I do it with my customers. I do it with my stakeholders. I do it with my vendors. In negotiations, feasibility, charrettes, pitches. It's taken over my life because it's such a powerful experience. It's a win-win situation for you. It's a win-win situation for your team, for your customers. So your team's A game is made in group flow. Now, speaking of A game, let me show you something. It's not only about art that you can find flow, you can find it in sports. Let me set the stage. I'm going to show you a video clip from the Yankees versus the Oakland A's in American League Division Series. A's were up 2-0, and it looked like if they had won this game, they were going to the next phase, which was one step below the World Series. And it looked like the A's had this game in the bag. It was 1-0. It was top of the 8th inning, and let me stop talking. Let me just show you this video clip. It's called the Jeter Flip. Derek Jeter, shortstop.
Doesn't have a stolen base the entire season, so you're not going to run, you're not going to hit and run, you got to wait for a gapper.
That is fair down the right field line. Giambi on his way to third, and they're going to wave him around. The throw misses a cutoff man, shot it to the plate, out of the plate.
Did you see that? Did you see what was a shortstop doing on the first base side? He's supposed to be on the shortstop side, but he saw that the ball was not cut off by the first baseman. It wasn't cut off by the right fielder. He just happened to be in the right place at the right time. He flipped it to the catcher. The catcher got Giambi. It stayed 0-0. The Yankees scored. They won that game. They won the next 2 games, and ultimately they went to the World Series, all because of
Derek Jeter with one of the most unbelievable plays you will ever see by a shortstop. Both cut off.
all because of flow. Derek Jeter was in the right place at the right time because he was in sync with what was going on. He was in flow. And I want that for you. So bad art takeaway number one. Bad art happens when the artist is out of touch with their art. Teams work best when members are in sync, in time, and in flow with each other. Okay, so that's what we learned from art, in sports. Flow. You ready? Are you ready to go to bad art lesson number 2? Who's ready? Everyone's still up? Thumbs up, thumbs up. All right. This is fun. This is one of my favorite lessons. All right, here we go. Marcel Duchamp. There he is, smoking that stogie. He was a surrealist in the early part of the 20th century. He called himself Armut. We don't know why he called himself that. It's probably because he was just a true original. One of his famous quotes was, "I have forced myself to contradict myself in order to avoid conforming to my own taste." What are you talking about, Marcel? What are you talking about? Look, I think I understand what he's saying. What he's saying is this: I have a fountain, and I'm going to show it in a museum in Philadelphia in 1917. It's beautiful, right? I'm going to call it the fountain. I'm going to put my name Armut on it. It's lovely, right? Is it bad art? Is it art? Well, that's the question that everyone had back in 1917 because they never seen such a thing. This thing is actually not a fountain. This thing, believe it or not, is a men's urinal. He took a men's urinal off of the wall and put it in a museum. It's called Ready Made. And for someone to be able to see the beauty in a urinal, it's quite amazing. How did Duchamp do it? He saw clearly. Look at those eyes. He's looking right through you. Just like Jake Sully of Avatar. They're looking right through you. They're looking at you. Look at that. And how do they do that? They don't judge. They don't evaluate. They don't compare. All they do is see what's in front of them. It's easier said than done. For example, let's say you want to look at a beautiful tree. There it is. It's right in front of you. But not right in front of you, because between your eye and that tree are your ideas about the tree. Okay? You can be thinking about what type of tree is that? How old is that tree? You know, where are the other trees? There's a lot of ideas floating in your brain, and the perception from your eye has to go through your mind, and it can cause you not to see what's in front of you clearly. How do you do it? How do you see with fresh eyes? Well, you see what's in front of you. You have to stay in time, and you see without prejudice. Right? Easier said than done. That's how you do it. And if you do that with your team, if you can interact with your team with an open mind, with fresh eyes, you see others as they are, you hear what's being said, you don't shy away from conflicting perspectives, you learn from everyone, and you co-create an atmosphere of honesty and trust. Right? It's all about team. You know that acronym, TEAM? Together, everyone achieves more. I wholeheartedly believe that. Because if you can create a culture of authenticity, you're halfway there. So what do we learn? Bad art takeaway, sometimes what at first looks like bad art is not. Teams work best when they interact without judgment and communicate in an honest and authentic manner. All right. You having fun yet? All right, here we go. One last takeaway, one last lesson from bad art, my favorite one. I'm a creative guy. There's a lot of creative guys and gals there. There's Picasso, there's Duchamp, there's Frankenthaler, there's Calder. They're all artists. What does these artists have in common? What do you think these artists have in common? I'll tell you. They create alone. As Fred Flintstone on his island of creativity found his Wi-Fi channel 2,000 miles away from any land, but he's done it. He's done it because he's creative. He likes working alone. I like working alone. I'm a DIY design guy. DIY stands for do it yourself. When I wrote my books, I was by myself. Even though I was in the train, I was by myself. I didn't let anyone sit next to me. When I designed some furniture for Geo International, I was by myself. When I designed my greeting card company, I was illustrated for the cards. I was in the corner of my apartment in the city, and my wife put a shoji screen around me and said, don't come out. That's where you're going to be. I said, okay. I liked it that way because good art is not about working in a committee. Artists like to work alone. Designers like to work alone. Engineers like to work alone. But what I'm going to show you blew my mind. This is just a few years ago. When I went to East End of London, and I went to Wynwood Walls, Miami. It blew my mind because this is graffiti, but it's done by more than one artist. Can you believe it? The Wynwood Wall says there's more than 10 artists who created that. And I'm like, wow, it can be done. You can work collaboratively as an artist. So it blew my mind. It changed everything. And then I started to think about it. What does this mean? What it means is that you have to move from me to we. Everyone has an ego, right? Everyone wants to be right. Everyone, it's I, me. It's all about me. Toastmasters, it's about me. I want this. I want the attention. I want to be right. I want the attention. But if you want to move from me to we, you have to have a we go mindset as opposed to an ego. So it's kind of like a hive mentality. It's kind of collaborating together. And how do you do that? You let go and you build something together. It's in Toastmasters analogy would be let other people onto the stage with you. Don't just be up on stage like I am. Let other people be on the stage with you in the spotlight. It's an interesting mindset. It's called the BIT mindset. And the important word I want you to look at is build. All right, you're building something together with someone else, with your team. So it's more of a construction project than it's a construction project with everyone's working on at the same time. Let's not belabor the point because we have a lot to cover. So it's about team collaboration. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So what can you build together? You can build anything together. You can build your list of requirements together. You can build your planning documents together. You can design, develop together. Project success. It's all about us. Now, I have a story to tell, but I'm not going to tell it because I want us to do something together. More time to do stuff together, to be exercise together. So I'm an engineer in my head. I'm an artist at heart. I love formulas. Here's the formula that I want you to remember. Pretty simple, right? A plus B equals C. What does that mean, Seth? It means accept and build for collaboration. And we're going to go over that later and what exactly those words mean. Accept plus build equals collaboration. And for the poets in the audience, BIT is as easy as ABC. All right, but remember that. It's a good takeaway. Speaking of takeaways, it's easy to make bad art alone because there's no one around to tell you it's bad. Teams work best when they build together with a common vision throughout the project. All right. Okay. Exciting, right? What you can learn from bad art. Is everyone still good? Give me a thumbs up. Thumbs up, real thumbs. All right. Hello, everyone who joined us. All right. So now we get into the meat of the matter. Let's get away from bad art. I guess we can. All right, drum roll. Teams work best when each member understands that they are an essential part of a larger composition and they take collaborative action to create a beautiful project masterpiece together. All right, that's the end. Or is it? Be fantastic now. So you want to be an artful leader. You want to help your team to access that magical state of flow. Right, fantastic, FAB, express and share their unique ideas with authenticity. And you want to cultivate a collaborative, build it together culture to create win-win situations with your team. Flow, authenticity, build it together, I promised. We would get you to being a fantastic, artful leader. All right. Now here it is. Let's move on. Improv to improve. How do we become fantastic? All about improv. But it's really all about Toastmasters. You know, I've been on a lot of weak teams. I've been on a lot of strong teams. One of the strong teams is at a Toastmasters meeting. Everyone's got to work together, right? To coordinate the meetings, collaborate over the agenda and organize the agenda. Toastmasters has taught me a lot about teamwork. Okay. I am the president of Hudson River Toastmasters. We meet second and fourth Tuesday. And I invite you to come say hi to us. So everyone knows Toastmasters meetings are divided up into prepared speeches, impromptu speaking, and evaluation and feedback. Now, who's with me when I say that impromptu speaking or table topics is our secret sauce? I thought prepared speeches, yeah, right? I thought prepared speeches was great. And then I realized that, oh my gosh, table topics is the key to everything in my career. Improv to improve. So what is table topics? I say Toastmasters activity intended to help club members develop their ability to quickly organize their thoughts by responding to an impromptu question. Yes, that's what it is. But at work, Q&A is at most 20% of your total time, right? How many meetings do you have? Not that many. But that's good. Table topics is great. But what about the other 80% of your day at work? What about informal communication with your team, with your boss, with your customers? I would say it's 80% of your day. So how can we use what we're learning at table topics to speak with our colleagues? Well, I call it table topics togetherness. Traditionally, table topics is about me, right? You answer the question and you give the answer, 1 to 2 minutes, right? It's all about me. I'm on stage. I'm giving the answer. Don't interrupt me. I'm talking to you. I'm in the spotlight. I'm independent. I'm individualist. There's one answer. That's my answer. That's the right answer. But table topics togetherness, about we, about speaking with, about co-creating together. It's about collaborating. It's synergistic. There's many possibilities. Don't it change your life? Table topics, togetherness thing. It has for me. How do you do it? How do you do it? How do you do it? Good question, Seth. It comes from a strange source. Improvisational comedy. Weird. But you know, I'm not talking about funny. I'm talking about business. I'm not talking about funny. We're talking about having fun with your team. Okay? So impromptu communication, or improv, is improv minus the funny. It can be fun. It's always fun. Every day I have so much fun with my team because of improv, because of table topics, togetherness. It did change my career. I never would have been able to go from designer to design manager, which is what I am now, without improv. No way. Practicing the art of improv will improve your team's performance. When you need to do some silo busting, people know what silo is. Each team is in their own silo. They don't talk to each other. Improv will help them talk to each other. You're tired of so-so solutions, which is same old, right? The team is giving the same solutions over and over again. There's no creativity. Everyone's talking, no one's listening. Improv will help you with that a lot. Listening. And your team has lost its mojo, it's lost its energy. Improv will energize your team. It's an incredible tool. This is not just, I'm just not talking. This is a real deal. Improv always starts with 2 words. What is it? What are they, Seth? What are those 2 words? Yes and. Okay. This is what improv boils down to. Yes and. Yes always comes first, because it's about listening, not about talking. You're just listening. You're not interrupting the person you're speaking with. You're accepting what's spoken. That doesn't mean you agree with what they said. You're not thinking or analyzing. You're listening with the flow mind. Remember the bad art lesson number 1? Listening with your flow mind. You're in the now. You're on the cutting edge of time. And always follows yes. You respond in a kind and tone and energy to who you're talking to. You build on what was said. You contribute during your team. You build, very important, building. Not about being right or wrong. It's about building it together. The IT mindset, very important. So this is how improv goes. Someone starts, offers an idea. The other one accepts the idea and builds on it. A plus B equals C. Go back and forth. Yes, and. Yes, and. You can literally say yes, and. Or you can just think it in your mind. And what is this all about? This improv. It's maintain your BIT mindset. You move in the direction of conversation step by step. You're not thinking about where you're headed. And you don't debate or negate. You collaborate. Different type of mindset. And I'm an engineer. So here's another key takeaway about improv. Order matters. Sometimes I feel like I'm behind the 8 ball. Have you ever felt that, like you're behind the conversational 8 ball? Why is that? It's because I was doing things out of order. I wasn't listening first. So first I taught myself I have to listen, then I have to think, then I have to speak, and I repeat the process. Listening is so important. Improv teaches you how to listen. It's all about order. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like dancing, like the box step. Imagine if you did 4 before 2, you would fall down on your face. That's not a comfortable position to be in. So order matters. Public listening skills. Toastmasters teaches you about speaking. What about listening? Improv does. Improv teaches you about listening. That's the and part. The yes part, certainly Toastmasters teach you all about that. The and part, not as much. All right, what are the levels of yes listening? What are they? They're all levels. There's no yes, where you're just like not even tuned into what is being said. You're just thinking about something completely different. There's a maybe yes, where we kind of hear what they're thinking, but you're kind of thinking about what you're going to say before you speak. And then there's the all in yes. That's where we want to go. How do we get to the all in yes? Got to clear your mind. You got to be in flow. You got to be in time. Some practical steps there is take a deep breath and connect with the moment. Make eye contact. We're Toastmasters all about making eye contact. Follow the flow of ideas. Follow them. What are they being? What are they telling me? Suspend evaluating thoughts. Don't think. Don't evaluate. You can't listen and think and evaluate all at the same time. Order matters. Remain open to all ideas. All ideas are good. Improv, creativity, all ideas are good. You build on the idea. So better listening tips for evaluating at the club, at the Toastmasters club. You know, the closest thing to listening skills in Toastmasters is the evaluation phase, right? Well, how do you do it? You listen all in. You don't start evaluating in your head until the speech is done. When you realize your mind has gone off track, bring it back gently to listening. Don't criticize yourself. Listen and retain the big ideas. Don't try to over-remember everything. Take simple notes while speaker is speaking. Don't try to take detailed minutes. It's not about minutes, it's about taking notes. Simple notes and still being able to listen while the speaker is speaking. On top of your game is improv. Man, change your career, change your life. Made me a dynamic speaker, an agile leader. Agile means just flexible. Made me a quick, on-the-spot thinker, and all-in listener. I do love improv. Climb to new heights with improv. All right. Are you ready for some fun? Not funny. Not funny. We're just going to have some fun together. Who's ready? Thumbs up. Thumbs up. Thumbs up.